What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Lando and C show. A very cheerful Lando right now. We'll get to that in just a little bit. We got three more series, first round series that ended. We're going to give our takes, our reactions, our reviews, and previews into the second round for all of these teams. First matchup of the day was the Philadelphia 76ers and the Toronto Raptors. The 76ers were in jeopardy of giving up a 3-0 lead to Toronto. Very close, but they got the blowout today. 132-97 was the final score. What were your thoughts on this game and the whole series?
Well, this whole series, I thought it was a breeze. I didn't think Scotty Barnes was coming back, but he did. I made it a series, and I was convinced that the Sixers were gonna blow a 3-0 lead with Doc Rivers' comments, I think either today or the other day, about the context of him being, one of the only coaches to have multiple 3-1 leads blown in the playoffs. I don't know if you saw that rant, but it was crazy.
I didn't know.
He threw his Orlando Magic team under the bus and made excuses as to why the other two times it happened were well, he gave himself fault for the bubble, but he still made an excuse about how if they were in LA, things would have been different against Denver. But then what about when Denver goes to Denver? Would things be different then too?
Yeah.
So, the outcomes happen because they happen. And Doc Rivers coincidentally is a part of those outcomes. Luckily for him, he wasn't part of it. James Harden stepped up big time today. He had 15 assists, passed the ball around over. I think they had over 6 guys in double digits in scoring. And that has to do with the ball movement James Harden was able to create. And hopefully this is a thing to come because they need James Harden to be a facilitator and to at least put up 20 plus at least a night if they're going to, go on to win a championship.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the Sixers can do. I had them going to the championship, honestly, after Harden went to the team, but their play has been somewhat lackluster, ever since he got there, and still hasn't fully meshed. Obviously, it's hard to get chemistry that quickly with players you've never played with. But here they are beating the Raptors in the first round, and the Raptors have a great future ahead of them. Really great young three-headed monster right there with Siakam, Van Vliet, and Barnes, dude. Beautiful three-person combo. If they can keep those three guys together, they're young, keep them healthy, and maybe add another piece or two, they got a really solid future up there in Toronto.
Yeah.
So a lot to look forward to if you're a Raptors fan, honestly. Don't take this loss hard. The Sixers just outplayed.
Yeah, and they started the season off really bad, and got really hot in the second half, and climbed up the rankings, all the way up to 5th. I'm pretty sure within the All-Star break they were probably in contention for a play-in. So kudos to the coaching staff, future coach Nick Nurse of the Los Angeles Lakers. Kidding. Wishful thinking. But
fans, man, crazy.
Toronto has a good, bright future. They have a great coach they've blocked in. He's not going anywhere unless the Raptors say so. And like you mentioned, that three-headed monster that they got developing there. Now all they really need to do is build around those guys and bring some savvy vets around them to win. Because I think that's what they're missing the most is they're missing that one guy or a couple guys that have been in playoff positions that other players haven't.
Yeah, and that was Kawhi that championship year. That was the guy that had the finals experience, and he came in and they won. So they need someone like that again. Obviously, Kawhi is a generational talent, so it's hard to fill shoes like that. But yeah, you're exactly right. Just somebody to come in with the experience that can coach up some of the younger guys as well, and just have good chemistry with them. So yeah, Sixers move on. and I'm excited to see what they do if they. It all lies on the shoulders of Harden and Embiid.
That's good. Yeah, and that's going to be a very difficult matchup right there, Miami versus Philly. I think that's a 7-game series right there because I don't know who's going to stop Joel Embiid. Bam Adebayo is going to do a really great job with Joel Embiid. I think Bam is probably one of the strongest players in the NBA other than like Steven Adams. So, he's going to have his work cut out and he's going to have to show all his strength. Probably will be in a bit of foul trouble guarding Joel Embiid because it's inevitable guarding that guy.
Yeah.
And, James Harden is going to be the X factor of this series. And that's what this series is predicated if the Sixers want to win, is whatever James Harden is capable of.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, let's move on to the second matchup of the day. The game started like 30 minutes after the Sixers game, so you kind of had to flip back and forth. Phoenix Suns, and New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans, kudos to them, man. Kudos to all of those guys, all those young guys. Kudos to their coach. Just cool to see, honestly. Really cool. They made it out of the play. They weren't even going to be in the play-in, like right before the play-in happened. It just happened.
Important games against the Lakers.
Yeah. Fought through the play-in. And then who would have thought going against the number 1 seed Phoenix Suns, you take them to 6 games, put up a good fight, and give some hope to your home crowd, man. Like, it was really cool at the end when the crowd kind of knew that the game was over, but they got up, standing ovation for the team, and cheered on the Pelicans because they like what they have, and they got a great coach. They got good talent, and Ingram. Ingram played amazing this series, and it just depends who they can get. It depends if Zion wants to leave still after this performance. Like, does this performance in the first round make him rethink wanting to leave? Or I don't know, man. It's such a question mark with Zion Williamson. We know how good of a talent he is, but can he stay healthy? Can he have the drive to play for the Pelicans? So that's the future of the Pelicans right there, is what will happen with Zion, in my opinion. Because that added piece would have maybe been the distance to take the Phoenix Suns to 7 games.
And this is where I have maybe an issue with it, because you saw everything they were able to do this season. And this is what I wonder. How do you fit Zion into all this?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. That's a good question.
Because you got Troy Murphy III, who played well off the bench. You have Herbert Jones, who went to the second round, but was able to show that he had capabilities of a first-round pick, played really great defense, and he was just all over the floor. And then you have BI. He's going to get touches away from him if you bring back Zion. And what about Jonas Valanciunas? That middle is going to get clogged up. So, I feel like they really got to figure out what they want to do with Zion this offseason. Me personally, if I'm the Pelicans, I'd probably try and trade him as an asset.
Yeah.
And get a bunch more veteran guys around Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and Herbert Jones, and all these young guys, because they got the taste.
He's shown interest in not wanting to play for the Pelicans publicly.
Yeah, but like you mentioned, after this showing, how can you want to leave the situation?
Well, that's also
on Zion if he wants to leave.
If I'm the front office for the Pelicans, though, do I want him now after he's shown public interest in wanting to leave, not wanting to be a part of this team, and now all of a sudden they take the Suns to 6 games and he's like, oh, I want to stay now. I like these guys. And then it's like, no, it might be too little too late. I think they've already shopped him around. They know what they can probably get from teams. And they very well might pull the trigger this offseason. We'll see what happens.
Are you predicting a Zion trade here?
I think there may be a Zion trade. And I think it might be in the Pelicans' best interest, honestly, to trade Zion, because you can get some assets for Zion, like you said, and really surround these guys like Ingram and McCollum. I mean, McCollum's on this team. McCollum's great. And Alvarado has been playing great. It's just,
and he's there for the future.
Yeah, he's brand new. He's a fresh face. So yeah, the future of the Pelicans look great. Moving on to the Suns, though, we haven't even talked about the Suns yet. Just a great team. I didn't know that Booker was coming back.
I think that was a surprise to many.
It was apparently the game time decision, but I didn't hear it. I thought he was out 2 to 3 weeks.
I did too. I mean, it's been almost a week since his injury.
So here I am, a Dallas Mavericks fan, and I'm gleeful. I'm looking forward to round 2 because I think that the Mavs are going to beat Utah tonight, and we're going to go on and face the Suns without Devin Booker, and they've looked weak against the Pelicans. I'm like, all right, we're going to get past the second round, but out comes Booker, plays 32 minutes.
Granted,
he only got 13 points, but he was there. He had a clutch 3-pointer at the end to ice the game. He was still Devin Booker, and if he can stay.
Well, I wouldn't say he was Devin Booker still. He only had 13 points. He had a clutch 3.
He's still the human Devin Booker is what I meant. His presence on the court is shown, right? Like he draws attention. He draws attention away from Paul and Chris Paul.
Wow.
He listened to our last video. You called him out, man. You called him out because you said he had a bad game. He's old, and next game he's not going to play good. He went perfect.
Well, listen, I don't think my thinking was that they were gonna make it difficult for Chris, 90 feet on the floor, and just pick him up from the inbound play. But like you mentioned, Devin Booker being there was a big presence, and it opened up the door for Chris Paul to have a good game.
It opens up the floor when you have a guy like Booker on the court. You can't give all your attention to Paul like they were doing when Booker was out. And that left the door wide open for Paul. Not to say that it's easy to be perfect in a playoff game, because he went 14 for 14, 33 points.
I like,
from free throw line. Gosh.
Okay. I got to mention this too. Oh, and you're right. He did go 4 for 4 on the free throw line.
He did.
What was funny was Devin Booker's post-game conference quote. He mentioned, listen, I know Chris went 14 and 14 and he made history, but man, something about him with the heat check and checking it every time, I think 14 and 15 sounds better because he went for the heat check.
Yeah.
And it just made me laugh because that's just funny, for him, perfect isn't necessarily perfect because you're not going for it the next time. You're content in that sense. And I just found it funny. He thinks 14 out of 15 is much better on the stat sheet. I just love it. That's a dog.
That's just that's the veteran mind in Chris Paul taking smart shots though.
Yeah. And man, Chris, this is why he's my favorite point guard. He can control the game in so many levels. I think he's the only player in history, probably other than maybe, probably he's the only player in history, I think, with 10,000, I think 10,000 assists or 1,000 assists. I don't know. I think it's 10,000 assists and 20,000 points. I think he's probably the only player to be able to do that.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's one of the greatest point guards of all time. I love Chris Paul. I always have. And that's why last year I was cheering for them in the finals. I really wanted Chris Paul to finally get his ring. And I love Devin Booker so much. But I'm not cheering for them anymore.
I am.
I'm not cheering for them anymore. Round 2 sets up a meeting tonight. This was Dallas Mavericks taking on the Utah Jazz. Dallas got down by as much as 16 points at one point.
Yes.
And to be honest, I watched the whole entire game. To be honest,
I watched it.
I wasn't worried when they were down that much.
I wasn't either.
I wasn't worried.
I know you got my text message. I said, hey, and they were down by double digits when I texted you.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure Dallas is going to close it tonight. We got to do some videos.
I wasn't worried. Yeah.
I wasn't either. I'm not. I mean, just as a fan, I was just like, they're up, but they're not really ahead of them. It feels
No.
like
Yeah, you could tell.
Dallas is still taking their time,
You could
and
tell it
then
was still in reach. You could tell.
man,
Yeah.
in that third quarter, Luka went to his bag. He went for the fake drive to the left to step back into the 3-pointer every time it bottomed in, and
And
he was just and Jalen Brunson too. He
just,
was going in his
gosh,
bag.
I
Inside the
love
paint.
seeing Brunson playing this well. It also scares me though, because he's probably not going to be a Dallas Maverick.
He's not.
Next
He's
season,
not.
unfortunately.
I think Mark Cuban is going to make the same mistake he did, like when he didn't extend Steve Nash.
I hope we can figure out a way to keep him. I hope we can give him the money that would please him to stay with the Mavs. I hope he has some bias to the Mavericks still, where he would take, maybe $5 million less than another team.
I have a potential
You're gonna say he's
proposal.
gonna go to the Lakers? Shut up. Dude.
No,
Shut
I mean
up.
a potential trade proposal for
Okay.
Brunson.
Okay.
So sign and trade with the Lakers for Westbrook. You guys need a franchise leader.
Just straight Westbrook for Brunson?
Yes, we signed Brunson to a big old contract.
I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding. That'd be awful. That would ruin anything that's going on in Dallas.
It depends what version of Westbrook we get, though. But also, Westbrook seems to kind of tear up a lot of locker rooms, anyways. I don't think it would be that good of a.
Nah, it would never happen. Just wishful thinking again from a Laker.
So the Mavs won by 2 points. 98-96 was the final score.
And both
huge third quarter from the Mavericks, like you said.
And Jalen Brunson, man, he was in his bag. He made, I don't know if you saw that play against him and Rudy Gobert in the paint, where he was just like hitting him with moves left to right.
I know exactly the play you're talking about.
And he hit Rudy Gobert in a spin cycle because he thought he was going up for a layup left.
Dude, Rudy did not know where to go, man. And
he was lost.
And that's the defending defensive player of the year. And Brunson put him in a cycle, man. And honestly, to play this well against a defensive player of the year like this down low, Luka played great defense against Gobert multiple times. Had 2 blocks tonight. There was a couple times we talked about it before this video. I was watching Luka off ball on defense. He was boxing out Gobert multiple times to get a lot of defensive rebounds that were very important for them.
And unfortunately, that's what bothers me is, like, don't get me wrong. I think Luka has the torque and the physique to box guys out like Gobert, but that to me shows how much Luka wants it versus how much Gobert wants it. Because Gobert, he only had 6 attempts. He had Luka Doncic and guys as small as Spencer Dinwiddie guard him at times.
Yeah.
And he only got the ball around six times. And as a big man, you got to ask for it when you got guys that are like 6'8" 8 inches shorter than you.
Yeah.
And when guys are under you, you got to dunk it. You got to show why you're a big man. And I just think Rudy Gobert doesn't have that dog in him.
He doesn't. No, his heart wasn't there tonight, it seemed like. Maybe he's also feeling the foreshadowing that a lot of fans are that this team is going to be split up in the offseason.
I think they all felt that.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the case. I'm not sure. But I loved the performance from Brunson and Luka Doncic tonight. Dinwiddie as well played amazing.
Yeah, Dinwiddie had his moments. He had his moments, but I think all the guys had their moments.
They did. It was a team win. It was a team win.
Had that one-legged fadeaway to hit in the last seconds. I know you saw that.
Yep.
Dinwiddie hit important threes. Finney Smith hit some too.
Yeah, I was just about to mention Finney Smith had 10 rebounds as well, but Finney Smith played great. Hit a lot of very important threes. Dinwiddie was the leading scorer for the Mavericks for like half the game, and then until Luka took it over in the third quarter, as well as Brunson, and then Luka, of course, finished with 20.
And unfortunately for the Jazz, they had an opportunity to win the game. That was a wide open three that Bogdanović missed.
Man, oh my gosh!
I mean, you can't. It was a great play. Great play, and because everyone thought it was going to Mitchell, and then Bogey just slid down to the baseline.
Yeah. And he had the hot hand. He had the hot hand all game.
Yeah.
If you're going to talk about a shining star for the Jazz, it was really Bogdanović. He was hitting a lot. I loved that back and forth
in the third quarter.
Luka and him. I loved that back and forth. Even though I'm a Mavs fan, I love when that happens. When you get that back and forth, just three after three after three. That was
four possessions. Possessions. And those two 3-pointers that Luka hit were both fake drive left into a step back three.
Yep. And then Mitchell played good. He had 23 points and they just couldn't close it out. Brunson didn't make that last free throw that would have made it a 3-point game.
And that was on Utah too, because they made very costly mistakes within their last 4 possessions. The only possession that was smart was that Bobby play.
Dude, I was so happy when I was watching the final 2 minutes when Dallas was up by 3 points. 2 possessions in a row, the Jazz came down and just jacked up a 3.
Yep, and their last 4. Yep, and that's the thing. Like you mentioned, they were probably feeling the pressure of the team being.
They just wanted to tie it up, I guess, man. But
no, I just think it's a mental thing. They were rushing it. They were like this. It was the pressure, and
they didn't even try to set up good shots either. They just came down. And as a Mavericks fan watching, I was so happy watching that, because when you see a team start rushing like that in the final 2 minutes of the game, you could tell there's so much pressure on that team.
And their 4 possessions
at the end though, still. But
like you said, Bogey jacked up a wild 3-pointer. Then Mike Conley jacked up. It wasn't even a 3-pointer. They called it a 3-pointer on the TV, but he had his foot on the line. So even if he had made that shot, it was only one possession or 1-point game going back to Dallas. And then Mike Conley had a costly turnover, in those last seconds, and held his dribble in the middle of the paint and traveled. And
he didn't know what to do, man. Which is weird to say for a veteran like Conley. He didn't know what to do. There was 5 seconds left on the clock when the whistle was called, and he didn't know whether to just take it in and try to go for the layup, maybe get some contact. He didn't know what to do.
He got lost. He was moving too fast, and I think that's where you're right, Landon. I think all those guys got caught up in that moment into thinking this is it. If we don't win tonight, this team is done. Yeah. And even when Bogey got that great shot, it was so wide open for him to go so left. Like it almost looked like it was a foot short.
Yeah.
He barely got the rim. So, for Utah, it looks like they're going into rebuilding mode. I don't think Donovan Mitchell is going to be there anymore. People keep on mentioning the Knicks. I don't know if the Knicks.
Mitchell will be gone. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to be there. I think this whole team, if they trade Mitchell, they have to blow up the whole team, because then what are you doing? You're not winning with Rudy Gobert as your number 1 guy.
That's tough to see if you're a Jazz fan. I mean, this team was the number 1 seed last year.
Yeah, but this is always the same story with these guys. They either get out in the first or second round, they hold a comfortable lead, and then they give it up. Like last year, what happened? Terrence Mann cooked Rudy Gobert on a night, or not on a nightly basis, but Terrence Mann had a night of his life in the playoffs because he was guarded by Rudy Gobert, and the game plan was to get it to Terrence Mann against Rudy. And to me, that always seems to be the point of emphasis, is that they somehow can't seem to guard anybody in the playoffs, and Rudy Gobert looks lost offensively and doesn't get enough touches in there to make him effective on that side of the floor. And even on the defensive end, he's a liability, because if he's dragged out on the perimeter off a switch in a pick and roll,
Luka wanted him the whole night. Luka was getting the pick to get on Gobert the whole night, and then would step back right in his face every time.
Yeah.
So for the Mavs, they move on to face the Phoenix Suns in the second round. Jazz are out and likely to be dispersed.
On tanking mode, full tank.
And for the Mavs, just quick, this is Luka's first playoff series win. had very close 2 years in a row against the Clippers, went to 7 games and everything. It's not like he hasn't been close.
Yeah.
First playoff series win for him. That's probably feels great to get under his belt, I'm sure. And for the Mavericks, first
one
playoff
since the
wins
championship.
since winning the championship in 2011, which sounds crazy to me. That I've been wearing this shirt. This has been my lucky shirt. This is from the championship year. This shirt is 11 years old, and that run was 11 years old, which is crazy to me to think about. Over a decade ago is when that happened. So just awesome. I'm really looking forward to the second round. I'm a little bit more nervous now that Booker's back. We'll see what happens. I think the Mavs can take them because we've seen what the Pelicans were able to do, and I think the Mavs are definitely a way better team than the Pelicans are. And your thoughts, after Chris Paul coming off a great night and then having a low night, maybe that will happen for the Mavs.
I don't think that happens. I don't think that happens if Booker's on the floor, because I think Chris Paul's only going to have those kind of streaks if Devin Booker's not on the floor, because then the point of emphasis is guard Chris Paul, because if you contain Chris Paul, you contain the offense.
Yeah.
But now you got Devin Booker back, and it's like, well, you can play a poker face with Booker and pretend he's all right, but at the end of the day, he's still a threat.
Yeah, it'll be a great series. I think they're pretty evenly matched teams as far as like defensively and offensively. I think that honestly, Ayton will be a really big part of the Suns, though.
Yeah, but see, I wonder, because I don't think you can cheat now. You could cheat with Rudy Gobert inside the paint, but
that's what I'm saying. I think DeAndre Ayton is going, if the Suns want to win, I think DeAndre Ayton is going to be the X factor of on their team to beat the Mavericks.
I agree.
They have the height with him. They have an advantage down low with DeAndre Ayton.
The only thing with Ayton is he's not one of those guys that likes to, do a bunch of his offensive load in the paint. He's more of a guy from 16 in. So he'll go from 16 feet and work from there into basically a little drive into the paint.
Yeah.
So, he likes to finish with finesse. He doesn't like to work really hard for those shots down in the paint. It always comes off a finesse move. So, I think the big men are going to have their hands filled with him, because they also got to worry about Chris Paul and now Devin Booker. And Mikal Bridges is putting up 20 points a night ever since he got called out by Charles Barkley. And, the team is stacked. Of course, I have the Suns winning because I don't believe in the Mavericks yet. But I think this is going to be a competitive one. I can't wait to see what Luka Doncic is made of in the second round. I think he's going to have a spectacular round. It's going to be hard to contain that man. I mean, when he's doing what he's doing right now, just having fun and playing, it's hard to guard him. Yeah. And you could see it with those little smug faces he was making to the crowd today. Yeah. He wanted it.
He loves it, man. That's what I love watching. It's so fun to watch him, because it seems like he's having so much fun when he's playing. And that builds a good team atmosphere, for everyone. So I'm really looking forward to the second round. First game is going to be Monday, May 2nd. And I'm really trying to see if I can take a road trip over to Phoenix, honestly, because Phoenix is 6 hours away.
Hey,
we could drive to Phoenix.
You got a road buddy here, man. We can
drive to Phoenix and sit at the very top. I'm not trying to sit down low. I sit at the very top in Phoenix and see if we can get in the building, bro. I might have to do something like that, honestly. So we'll see what happens.
If they go to, we'll see what happens. But you got a road partner here. If you do that,
that would be fun. That would be a lot.
Oh, that would be so much fun. Yeah,
we could also do it if the Mavericks get through and the Warriors get through. We could go up to San Francisco for a game. So
keep dreaming. I
Yeah.
think you gotta do Phoenix because it's now we're till next year.
Dang. All right. Cool. Well, I'll never be able to catch a Mavericks game against the Lakers out here because they're not making the playoffs for the next 5 years.
Well, you can watch them when the Clippers make it.
I can watch it against
I
the
mean,
Clippers. Yeah.
you
When
still
the
be in
Clippers
LA
are
too.
playing in Inglewood, I can go down there and
Wait,
watch
do
them.
they play next year in Inglewood? No way.
It might be the 20.
Yeah, maybe the next year, 2024.
The year after. Yeah. Yeah. Because I don't, well, this is way too off topic for our video, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're playing in the Forum to start and then building, or I don't know what's happening. Anyway,
God forbid they play in the Forum. It's disgusting.
Yeah, that's
the building Magic Johnson built.
That would be disrespectful. Yeah. So man, another great day of NBA basketball, dude. Just so much fun. And I'm way happier than I would if the outcome was the opposite. I would be very mad right now. Tomorrow we just have one game, Grizzlies Timberwolves. They
predictions tonight.
I think the Timberwolves, they're playing in Minnesota. I think the Timberwolves win it, take it to 7 games. They had a huge lead last game against the Grizzlies that they gave up. And I think they're going to come back with a vengeance. And I would love to see that series go to 7, honestly. And I wouldn't mind seeing the Timberwolves take them out, honestly. But we'll see what happens. Who do you think wins?
I think the Grizzlies close it out tomorrow. Yeah. I don't think
a bunch of 6-game series then. That's what
I mean, I think it could go 7. I mean, this is 2 very young teams that haven't been there before. Other than maybe Patrick Beverly, he's probably like the only guy in this. Him and maybe Kyle Anderson are probably like the only 2 guys that have actually been in like heated playoff contention. Yeah. And I think it can go either way, but I trust this Memphis Grizzlies squad to go into Minnesota and close it out because they know that if they go to 7, it's a lot of pressure and you don't want to waste your time. You got Golden State next. And whichever team comes out, let's be clear, they don't have a chance.
They're losing to Golden State.
They're all losing to Golden State. Yeah. They don't got a chance.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But I say Memphis closes it out tomorrow. But we have a hell of a game tomorrow.
I'm excited for that game. Other than that, dude, Sunday starts round 2. Bucks Celtics, 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Ooh. That means I gotta get up early that Sunday because I gotta go up early in the morning, get some shots up, and then watch the game.
And then you're coming over to help me, bro. So so dude, I've said it every time and I probably say it every video. The basketball that we're witnessing right now is just so good.
It's the best. It's the best. To be honest with you, Landon, this is probably the deepest talent pool of teams we've seen in the playoffs. Every team can potentially get upsetted by the other in the first round. Mm-hmm. Other than, even Brooklyn, it was a sweep, but every game was a 6-point differential.
Yep.
You have Kyrie Irving playing well in the 2 games in Brooklyn. Instead of shooting 30%, you bump that field goal percentage up to 46. They probably win by a 6-point margin themselves.
And the only series that I thought was a for sure sweep was the Suns and Pelicans. And look what that ended in 6 games tonight. So that just shows the talent. And obviously they had the injury with Booker, of course, but it's just such great basketball we're witnessing right now, and it's so fun, dude. It's just great playoff basketball, and I really wish either of the LA teams made it so we could just go to a game too. Because just the playoff basketballs have been so much fun to watch. I would love to be there in person.
Man, that play-in versus the Pelicans and Clippers stung because I was convinced I had like at least 2 more games to go to this season in the playoffs.
Yeah,
and to watch Chris Paul.
Yeah, because you thought the Clippers would win that, like everybody did, and then face the Suns. But here we are. So great slate of games. All of them ended the series today. That's, I think, what happened yesterday too, right? All the elimination games have ended in 6 so far. So we'll see if that trend continues tomorrow with the Timberwolves and Memphis Grizzlies trying to close it out on the road. So that's it for the video today. Unless if you have any other last thoughts or anything like that.
As for who did we just cover right now? Oh my God, I just drew a blank.
The game today, Mavs Jazz,
Yeah.
or
Who was the last team we were just talking about? The Jazz or
Boston and Bucks?
No. So I don't got no words for the teams that just got eliminated. Jazz to rebuild. Pelicans, bright future ahead. What do you do with Zion? I say trade him, get some valuable assets that you can build around BI, CJ McCollum, and Herbert Jones. And then lastly, for the Raptors, same thing, bright future ahead. What do you do around that three-headed monster you got building right there? Other than that, it's round 2. We'll see what happens with the Wolves and the Grizzlies, but round 2 is upon us. Get your popcorn. Each game is going to be hell.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. Warriors definitely want that series to go to 7, so they get another extra day or 2 of rest, and then they see a tired opponent. But yeah, that's it for the video today. Let's go Mavs. Make it to the second round, baby. Super excited. Mavs versus Suns coming up on Monday, dude. Woo!
See, only Mavericks and poverty franchise fans worry about getting to another round. As a Laker fan, we don't even get excited for that. We're just like, well, good. And you're supposed to.
This is the start of something right here. This is Luka Doncic's first playoff round victory. This is the start of something. It's something to celebrate, because
for you,
is the start of a
you as a poverty franchise
this
fan.
is the start of a dynasty. You hear my words, mark my words right now. Start of a dynasty.
Who, for the Lakers when they get Luka?
Dude, all you Laker fans are the same. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next video. We might have a video very soon if the Grizzlies can close it out. If not, then we'll have a lot of round 2 stuff to talk about pretty soon as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to chime in down below. As always, let us know your thoughts, predictions, and reactions as well. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate y'all. And we'll catch you in the next video. Peace.